who had these women from Thailand and Bali working for her doing massage. And she had a massage parlor. And one of those girls ended up sleeping with one of the customers. And DCAW are saying she met him at the massage parlor. And the owner of the massage parlor, who is charged with human trafficking, is like, okay. I'm like, okay, so you're bringing girls from Thailand and they're having sex with people and you've human trafficked them for sexual slavery. She's saying, no, I flew in masseuses to give massages, and one of those masseuses slept with a customer outside of business hours, outside of the business premises. How am I even supposed to know this is happening? DCAW don't give a shit. They write up human trafficking, sexual exploitation, trafficking across. So what is human trafficking? She transported them. She moved them from Thailand on a plane. That's the transport. For what? For profit, because they give massages. Yeah, because they're masseuses. Like, they just tick all these boxes, and before you know it, there's indictments being thrown around. It's like, what the fuck is this? Well, the thing is, because there's so many laws.
Welcome back to my channel, guys, and in today's video we are going to watch another Android emergency meeting. In this meeting we are going to learn a lot of amazing lessons, but before starting our video I'll let you know that I also have a Discord server where me and other members of our Discord server talk about money and how we can improve our life. Personally, I met amazing people in my Discord server who advise me, who suggest me to improve my videos, who suggest me to do these things that can push your content, that can push yourself. And we also talk about self-improvement, gym journey, and a lot of amazing things. If you are making money, join our Discord, connect with other people, and scale your business. If you are not making money, ask them, join my server and ask them to teach you, and they will teach you about e-commerce, trading, and some other stuff, also social media. uh, so let's start the video and subscribe that button, because our goal is to hit 10k subscriber as soon as possible. So must subscribe that button for more videos like that. Enjoy your video, guys.
I got asked about this yesterday. It's funny because someone asked me and they said, what's it actually like to be globally famous? And I tried to explain that, truthfully, there's no light without dark, and every positive has a disadvantage, and there's always good and bad to everything. But I feel like you are always at the same level of contentment. It's kind of like, as a man, you're at a certain level of contentment with who you are. Some people are super depressed and some people are super happy. But I'm no more or less content than I was when I was a struggling fighter who couldn't pay the bills. But you're happy with who you are and you're doing your best and you have a certain mindset, a certain happiness level. And then you may transgress through the world of finance and global stardom, etc. But you get there and then you have all the disadvantages that come with that. And then you have the advantages also. I'm not complaining, more money, more problems, but at least you're rich. But then you're at the same level of contentment. I don't think you're any more or less content anywhere along the journey. I don't feel any different than 2019, if that makes sense. It's really interesting when I try and analyze my successes and how well I've done across the last few years. And I feel like it's pretty similar to air resistance. As a car is trying to go faster and faster, the wall of air it's competing against gets stronger and stronger. And I do believe like where you get to in your life is down to how aerodynamic you are as an individual. How much stress can you adopt? Because there was many points along this journey I could have slowed down and stopped and not got where I was because there was pressure pushing against me. But me and my big mouth kept pushing against it back because my engine was powerful enough. And then you end up in a crazy situation, which I'm currently in, which is the democratic government telling the Romanians to try and shut me up. So it's really interesting how it all works out. But I guess it would be foolish of me to say I didn't want to be here. Like when I was in jail, I said to Tristan, I kept saying that they're going to put us in jail, and I kept saying we have to try and not go to jail, but I kept talking. Don't you feel like, I wouldn't call it self-sabotage, but it's kind of just like, you know where things end and you still do them. Isn't it the same with an addict, a drug addict who knows where it ends and he keeps doing drugs, or you keep fucking that crazy girl, or you know where it ends. It's kind of weird how the human mind works. But you know what? I'll stay right here. I'm 100% dangerous. They're going to use this against me in court, but fuck them. I think every man is supposed to be. I mean, I can be dangerous. I control myself, but I have the capability to be dangerous completely. I think all men should be. That's the reason liberals hate me so much, because they're scared of me. They see me as a big threat and danger. But if you look at the best men on earth, they all had the capability to be dangerous. It's a tenet to masculinity. But yeah, I mean, maybe if I was unhinged, I guess I could be dangerous. But then I think anybody can be dangerous when they're unhinged. I think that trying to be intense and making sure that I'm very intent with what I do and making sure that In fact, I'm going to change that answer. I feel like perhaps if I were to analyze this from the outside, I feel like one of the primary objectives perhaps of the Matrix is to make men hide the fact that they're dangerous. Yeah. Aren't men going through the world now trying to prove how dangerous they aren't? Like, think about it. When I was sitting with my girl the other day, and we were watching TV, watching Netflix, and then we turned Netflix off because it annoyed me, and we watched something else. And I said, why are all these dudes faggots? And she goes, they're not all gay. I'm like, no, I'm not talking about the gay ones. I'm talking about the straight ones. They're gay. Like, there's nothing masculine about them. It's like they're trying so hard to prove they're not a threat all the time. And I don't believe that that's accidental. I believe that's very intentional. I think a lot of men have been psyoped into trying to prove how passive they are so they don't come across as a threat. I understand why if you work in corporate or whatever. But that's not a concern of mine. If you look at me and think, oh, he might be dangerous, I don't give a shit. Like, that doesn't cross my mind. And I think a lot of men never used to care, but now there seems to be a concerted and deliberate effort for men to prove that they're not a threat to anybody. Well, I'm attracted by it because there are people who get to reject the conformity and they get to reject the rules. I really don't think there's much difference inside of the mentality of, I mean, there's certainly difference in capability. If you look at a street criminal and a Wall Street banker, there's difference in capability, but is there really difference in intent? Yeah. Is there really difference in, the mentality? You sit here and you argue that someone who steals a loaf of bread is a thief and someone who works at Wall Street isn't a thief. You're just talking about differences in capability. I don't think you're talking about differences in mentality. The people who own the world today are perfectly prepared to rob everybody, and they're going to steal as much as they can, and they're going to do it, and they're going to sleep just fine. And it's not going to cross their mind. It's not going to bother them. So we sit there and say, a drug dealer is terrible. Arms dealers are terrible people. You're like, okay, yeah. I mean, that's an easy one to paint to the general consensus of the population of the normies. Arms dealing's bad. But if you look at most of the things that are happening at the highest level, I mean, arms dealing isn't even bad at the highest level, but all the things that are happening at the highest level are just as bad, if not worse. So I think that once you understand that you don't want to live a normal life and you don't want to conform, then you're going to try and find the people who aren't living a normal life. And unfortunately in Luton, there's not many high-level Wall Street bankers. So you just end up seeing the people doing everything else. And then this becomes a question of morality. And you have to sit there and go, yeah, are these people genuinely any worse than the people who are running the world today? I don't know they are. I don't think they are. I mean, the people who run the world today, think of some of the decisions they make. I mean, I don't want to get you in a jail cell, but fuck it. You may as well go because I went. So I'm going to put it on your podcast. You talk about the Secretary of Defense of America sitting there deciding millions of young men need to die. Yeah. I mean, are these good people? Yeah. Are they moral people? Like, are they better than the person who's selling crack to kids? Are they better than the person who's stealing bread? Are they better than the people in Luton who are robbing houses? Sending 200,000 people to get blown to smithereens by Russian artillery for their own banking interests so their stock goes up? I mean, this is just the world. Anybody who's not conforming seems to operate to a degree with this level of psychopathy. All of them do. And if you don't have that psychopathy, fine, then you fall somewhere within the herd, but that herd is just getting exploited permanently. Now you're in the perma-exploitation herd. So then you have to sit there and go, okay, well, do you want to be a little bit dangerous, a little bit psychopathic, a little bit sociopathic, or do you want to be exploited? I don't know. I mean, that's another question for people to answer, but I guess I made my choice.
Elite.
Oh, completely. And no, you're completely right. And it's actually interesting because in the movie The Matrix, when he's sitting in the second one with the architect, and Neo doesn't believe what the architect's saying.
This is an architect setup, by the way.
There you go. And the architect's saying the only reason we allow you to do what you do is so that you can find the other people whose minds which are trouble, and you can free them, and you can go be a problem. But most people stay inside the system, which is also, I guess, perhaps to a degree, I consider myself Morpheus more than Neo, but I guess that's me. I'm looking for the other people whose minds want to be freed, but I don't want the entire Matrix to crumble. Like, when I like the fact that a lot of people do believe in the bullshit, because it would be stupid of me to think everybody should think like I think. Well, now we have chaos. There's no order left when everybody thinks like I think. I can look at the system and realize it's all bullshit, but you do need most people to believe in the system. And you're right, there's different systems in different places on the planet, but there's a system everywhere. And then you're right, we've become very cynical about the West, and I used to shit on the West all the time, but you have to be kind of careful when you do it, because what's the alternative? Like, I was talking to someone the other day and they were saying, the West is all corrupt. We talk about democracy and we don't believe in democracy. We talk about justice. We don't believe in justice. Look what we did to Assange. And I'm like, completely true. But if Assange was in China and he was anti-Chinese, he'd be dead. If he was in Russia and he was anti-Russian, he'd be dead. If he was anti-Saudi in Saudi Arabia, he'd be dead. Okay, he did some Belmarsh, but he's alive. Are we the best of a bad bunch now? I don't know. I mean, as bad as the West is, are we still the best of a bad bunch? If you look at the rest of the world, in many ways we are. I mean, Trump's just won, so we can pray for a revival. But the whole idea of democracy and justice and all these things we've based ourselves on, I think the reason people are so angry and cynical now is because it's a lie. And this is the unique thing about it, because China never based itself on freedom. So like, it's never based itself on freedom. So if you're living in China and the government's oppressing you, you're not like, this is unfair. You're kind of like, well, that's the game I'm living. But the West, we have this disconnect from people who can think for themselves to people who can't. The people who can think for themselves are very, very angry at the West and very, very angry at Western leaders because they're like, you lied to me. You told me this was democracy. It's not. You told me this was freedom. It isn't. You told me judges were fair. They're not. You told me the Department of Education was educating my children. They're not. You told me doctors kept me alive. They don't. So it's this lying that I think has upset us more, because if you're actually smart enough to analyze it from the outside and go, okay, forget the lie, but actually look at the system as bad as it is in the West. Is it better anywhere else? I mean, the way I've pissed off Western governments and what they put me through here in Romania, yeah, inconvenient, fine. But if I would have pissed off Russia and if I pissed off Putin the way I pissed off the West, I'd be dead. There's the bottom line. So it's like, it's kind of hard to measure. It's like, it's all a big bad bunch. I think a lot of people are just very upset they've been lied to in the West. And you're right. The reason, well, you're right that everyone has to believe a lie. The biggest problem we have in the West is that the lie we've told is so untenable.
They're like,
yeah, that's right. And you know what's really interesting? Because if we talk about it from the sheep's herd perspective, it's interesting because this also ties into race, because we talk about race a lot, and I'm mixed race, and I talk to both sides of it, and people talk about how racial identities unify people, and I agree with it, and I understand, because in the West, we're constantly now searching for something to unify us because we don't have it. And if you look at most other countries, what they're actually unified by as a flock of sheep is fear of the wolves. So you can have all these different colored sheep with different religions from different places, from Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Muslims, Christians, you name it, Eskimos on one side, white Christians on the other side, but they're all Russian, and they're all unified behind the Russian flag because the wolves are outside. So their sheep herd is unified by fear of the wolf. They're not saying to their sheep they're free. They're not saying to their sheep they even have any degree of liberty. In fact, it's pretty much the opposite. They say, we have a big fence, and we're going to have a big wall, and we may call you up to fight the wolves, but we have to, or we're all dead. We're unified by that. Whereas in the West, because we're the dominant power, we don't really have an enemy that we truly believe in anymore. We used to a bit after 9/11 and the Patriot Act and this crap, and they're all coming to kill us. People are a bit too awake for that now. To try and convince the average person that a farmer in Yemen is going to get on a fucking rowboat and come take your house in Tennessee, it's going to be difficult to do, right? So we're not unified by this common enemy. And then you have to ask yourself, is there anything else that can truly even unify people? Because we're now unified by the idea that we're free. So all the sheep are looking at the fence going, well, if we're free, why is there a fence? Why are there so many laws? Why am I told what to do? Why do I have to pay so many taxes? If I'm so free, how come this fence is actually the biggest fence of all the other sheep herds? Because we have the biggest fences with the most laws. It's like, so what is this freedom garbage? And this is where you go into the degeneracy argument. I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I truly believe one of the reasons they promote degeneracy is so they can convince you that the freedom is real, because the freedom's the big lie. So they have to take the one sheep who's, you know, a little bit special and say, well, you know, he can put he can have a rainbow fleece on. He's allowed to do that. And the other sheep herds, you can't do that because we're free. So they allow you to do all the degenerate things you can't do anywhere else to try and convince you you're free. But you can't do anything actually important, and you can't resist your enslavement, and you can't resist power. And in many ways, you're less free than in other places. And this is where the race argument comes in, because I've discussed this with a lot of people, and they say, yeah, so we need to be unified by race. And I sit there and I say, I agree with you. I understand how that's tempting, especially in the modern Western world, and I understand that having your ethnicity replaced and erased is extremely upsetting. But then even if you look back, has that ever worked? Like when it was all white people in America, there was the Northerns versus the Southern, or you're from that state, or you're from that town, or you're, you know, if Ireland was all white again today, there'd be an argument between Dublin and Belfast. They start arguing again. So we always find a line to divide ourselves on unless we are unified by a common enemy. And this is actually why a lot of the countries in the world do what they do. This is why North Korea on the news every single day threatens America. It's not because they're going to go to war with America. They don't really want to go to war with America. They want sovereignty, but they don't want to get annihilated. But they know the best way to keep their population unified is to talk about the size of the wolf. Yeah. And we don't have a wolf anymore in the West. So the only thing that unifies us is this imaginary guise of freedom. And the second thing that unifies us is that we can get rich, supposedly. Be nice to each other. You can do whatever you want, but you can't. But you can get rich. And that's where society is starting to get into, because I think the reason a lot of people are actually discontented, as you just talked about, the reason a lot of people are upset is they've realized they've been lied to about a lot of things. And the final, most insulting lie is that I don't even get to be rich at the end of this. You know, you move to America and you're like, yeah, I want to get rich. American dream. What's the American dream? Be nice to everyone, irregardless of their skin color or religion, get rich. Once people are starting to wake up now and realize and go, wait, I'm never going to be rich. And everyone at the top is rich. The shepherds are rich off me, and I never get to be rich. That's where the discontentment's coming in. I think that's where a lot of the actual anger is coming. And Russia doesn't promise its people they get to be rich.
Yes.
China doesn't promise. China doesn't say on the news every day, you get to be a rich person. In fact, I'd actually argue it's the opposite. They say, you get to go work at a factory. Be thankful. We're the only people who are saying, you can be rich, you can do whatever you want. And then you're not rich and you can't do whatever you want, so you're pissed. And that's how I think we got here. Well, you know, it's kind of interesting because I've never heard this before, but it's super true because they go hand in hand, right? As they try to make you docile, that is directly negatively correlated to your competence and individuality and capabilities, which makes you more angry because you're a loser, which means you need to be more docile. So they kind of go hand in hand. So the better the manager gets at making you docile, the more docile you need to become because the more angry you are. I tweeted something this morning on my way to court for human trafficking. And I tweeted, Western government in a nutshell is the fact that Germany sold its Bitcoin last month at 53,000. They've lost 1.8 billion at the current price, let alone where it's going to be in 10 years from now. And the amazing thing about this is Western government in a nutshell is no protests, nobody cares, no review, no one's responsible, no accountability, no one's in the government's even going to talk about it, no one's going to be held up on TV and be made accountable for what they've done, no explanation why they've done it. They just did it, and everyone just goes, oh, well, the government's so dumb. Oh, well, let me just keep paying my taxes. You talk about docile. People are so docile now that they brag about how stupid their leaders are. I sit there with people, and they're like, oh, the MPs in England are idiots. I'm like, yeah, they are, but they're your boss. You're right, they're idiots. I agree, they're idiots. But you're even more stupid because they're running you, you know? It's truly crazy. So you're right. Incentives is a really interesting way to look at it. I've never thought of it that way before. But the more docile they make you, the more you need them because you're incompetent. And then by exchange, the more angry you get due to your own incompetence, so the more docile you have to become. So what's their end goal? I heard somebody else very smart say one day that the end goal of every government is always communism because new laws are passed every single day. And this is what Elon Musk is trying to do right now. He's trying to put in some kind of limit for laws. If you pass a law, there needs to be a time limit until it's reviewed. Because you make a law and you forget about it. New laws are passed every day and laws are never taken away. So every single day you are less free than you were before. We want to talk about the sheep herd and talk about freedom. We have these signs everywhere, freedom, but every day our wall actually gets smaller because there's a new law every day. Nobody even knows what they are. Oh, well, let's talk about human trafficking. When people said human trafficking to me before this garbage I went through, I was like, human trafficking, yeah, that sounds bad. I mean, okay, you beat someone up and you put them in chains and then you drag them somewhere and yeah, that's like entrapment and false imprisonment. I get what human trafficking is. Until you end up being charged with human trafficking and you're like, what the fuck? Bro, I'll give you an example. There's another person right now currently in Romania who I've spoken to in court. They're going through a human trafficking case. It's a woman who had these women from Thailand and Bali working for her, doing massage. And she had a massage parlor. And one of those girls ended up sleeping with one of the customers. And DCAUT are saying she met him at the massage parlor. And the owner of the massage parlor, who is charged with human trafficking, is like, okay. I'm like, okay, so you're bringing girls from Thailand and they're having sex with people and you've human trafficked them for sexual slavery. She's saying, no, I flew in masseuses to give massages, and one of those masseuses slept with a customer outside of business hours, outside of the business premises. How am I even supposed to know this is happening? Default don't give a shit. They write up human trafficking, sexual exploitation, trafficking across. So what is human trafficking? She transported them. She moved them from Thailand on a plane. That's the transport. For what? For profit, because they give massages. Yeah, because they're masseuses. Like, they just tick all these boxes, and before you know it, there's indictments being thrown around. It's like, what the fuck is this? Well, the thing is, because there's so many laws, you don't have time to understand any of them until you're already caught up in it. Yeah. It's only when they've already hit you with the bullet. You can't avoid bullets. You have to get shot first to find out what caliber it is before you can call the medic. So this poor woman who I spoke to in court, who's on the verge of suicide, is like, they're saying I transport these women here for sex. I did the transport and financial exploitation because they worked, 8 hours a day and blah, blah, blah. She just tried to open a fucking massage parlor. But what's this prosecutor's incentive? You want to talk about incentives? What does the prosecutor do? The same prosecutor is coming after me. Why? Who gives a shit? Type it up, write it out, boom, send it to the judge. The judge decides. I don't give a shit if I'm right or wrong. What's my incentive? I need to just get cases. That's my job. I want a promotion. So I'm not the only person in Romania or the world charged with bullshit human trafficking. I didn't realize that human trafficking wasn't what I thought it was. It's actually a bullshit vague term that they just attack anyone with when they decide to. It's interesting when you talk about the inflation of language and how languages are different and narrative control. They do that the most with wars. When we attack someone, it's a tactical strike. Tactical precision. I mean, that's blowing up a school, by the way. I mean, and if you were to see a video of this tactical strike, you would see, and that's why for the first time ever, people are actually outraged about Gaza, Israel, because we can see it. It's been going on forever, but now we can see it. These tactical strikes are children without arms being dragged out of rubble, But when the bad guy attacks, it's brutality. Hamas's brutal murder, Hamas's barbaric actions when they went on October 7th. But we replied with tactical strikes. It's all bullshit. It's bullshit narrative control. And it's actually very interesting because of all the things they could have charged me with, that's another reason they choose the things they do. Once you look at somebody's reputation, you talk about someone sticking their head above the herd. Now you have all these very vague laws, right? And they can apply nearly anything to anyone. So once a sheep sticks his head above the herd, you have to sit and say, okay, well, if we martyr this man, the other sheep will back him up. So we have to make this person disliked by the herd. We can't just put him back in the herd. Otherwise, the herd will be like, whoa, you stuck your head up and you came back, you're alive. How was it? Should I try? Wow, you have a Bugatti, a sheep Bugatti. Let me try that. No, they have to get rid of that idea. So they're like, he stuck his head up. He needs to go back with a bad reputation. They can't, they're going to charge me with tax fraud and all this crap. Nobody cares because nobody wants to give their fleece to the fucking owners in the first place. So if you say, oh, you didn't give the owner all your fleece, everyone's going to be like, yeah, good. Fuck them. What do they do with it anyway?
Sorry for interrupting between the video, but if you don't want to listen to me and my perspective on this video, you can skip and watch the remaining annotated emergency meeting. I will also show a timer there so you can skip according to your taste and watch the remaining annotated emergency meeting. But I suggest you to listen to me and my perspective because at the end of the day, we not only talk about what we learned from this video, but we also talk about some other things. And in this video, we are going to do the exact same thing. In this conversation, we're not going to talk about what we learned from this video. In this conversation, we're going to talk about how we can actually get rich. I'm not talking about some BS stuff. I'm going to talk about how we can actually gonna get rich. Anyway, let's start the conversation. And I'm sure that you're gonna wonder that he's not rich. Then why he's telling that how we can get rich? Yeah, but I know how can we get rich, and I'm working on those things. Waking up early in the morning and doing 5 a.m. shower, cold bath, gym, walking 10k steps daily are not gonna make you rich. These things are good. I'm not saying these things are bad. I do the same things. I wake up early in the morning. I do 10k to 15k steps daily. I go to the gym daily. These things are good because your health is very important. Health is wealth at the end of the day. but these things are not going to get you rich, are not gonna make you rich. What gonna make you rich? What actually gonna make you rich? Let's talk about these things. So I come to this point that we have to do the things that other people are afraid to do. We have to do the things that other people are not doing. We have to take risks that other people are not taking. We have to take risk going to the school, college, and then university, and then get a job. It's a easy path. It's not a risky path. You just have to pass exams in order to get a job. You just have to pass exams. You just have to study hard in order to get a job, in order to get some money. I'm not saying that these things are scams. School, college, universities are scam. I'm not saying thing, and I don't think these are scams. Schools are important, colleges are important, universities are important, but these things at the end of the day, these things are not going to make you rich. You have to do things that other people are not doing. You have to take risk. I really laugh at people who said that schools are scam, universities are scam, these bullshit things. You can't run a single country without pilots, without doctors, without engineers. We need them. We need schools, we need universities. But that's an easy life. That's easy life. That's a life without any risk. But if you want to get rich, you have to do the things that other people are not doing. You have to start businesses, you have to start taking risks. And if you're in your 20s, or if you're in your teenage, maybe 18, maybe 19, maybe 20, you can take risk because you don't have any family to provide. You don't have responsibilities on your shoulders. Your parents are paying your bills. You have home to live in. There are not much responsibilities. You don't have to pay any bill. So you can take as much risk as you can. I'm taking risk. I'm taking risk for almost 4 years. And I know, I believe in myself that I'm going to make it soon. I'm going to get rich soon. I already have those things in future. I manipulate my mind in order to think like I can do it. I manipulate my mind in order to believe in myself that I'm going to make it. And you have to do the same thing. You have to manipulate your mind in order to think that you are going to make it. You have to take as much risk as you can in order to get rich. You have to work your ass off. You have to just focus on work. Forget about winning, forget about losing, just focus on work. I sit at night 9 a.m. in my room, in this place where I am sitting right now, and all I do is work all day long. I do work. I'm recording my video, and after recording my video, I also made another channel. And after recording this video, I will edit it. I will upload it on my YouTube channel, and after that, I will make another video for my another channel. And after that, I will make videos for YouTube. I will make videos for YouTube Short. I will make videos for TikTok. I will make videos for Instagram. And it's gonna take so much time. You have to work for 7 to 8 hours straight. You also have to like you also have to have a social life. You like personally, I go for a walk 10k steps, 15k steps daily, because it refresh my minds. I got different ideas when I spend time alone. I don't go for a walk with any other person, with any other friend. I go for a walk alone to think different ideas. And I got so many ideas when I spend time with myself alone. Anyway, let's talk about some other things, because I have all these things written. How much I learned from emergency meeting. I have all these things. So let me read. What topic should I choose to talk about? I found my topic. You have to do things instantly. You don't have to wait. You have to do things instantly. You got an idea. For example, you got an idea. Okay, I got an idea. Sorry, you got an idea for starting drop shipping. You have to do this, like fast thing. You got an idea. You have to work instantly. You don't have to work. You don't have to wait for the right opportunity. Right opportunity will come to you. You have to be impatient. You have to be impatient. You have to do. You have to be impatient. You have to work like this. We don't have time. Time flows like this. We don't have to wait. Like uh, it's not time. It's not the time to start it. I don't have funds. I don't have this. I don't have this. If I start, maybe I lose. No, no, bro. You don't have to think like that. You don't have to think like that. Just start and you can improve it later. For example, I'm giving you an example. I'm not flexing or doing something else or saying something else. I'm just giving you an example. Look at me. I don't have a luxury background to do speeches, to make motivational videos. I don't have any camera, any high quality camera to record videos on. And I have this mic sponsored by one of my subscriber. He helped me to buy this mic. I have nothing, but I only have belief. I didn't wait for the things like I will start a YouTube channel when I got an iPhone, or when I got a camera with a high quality camera, or I will start a YouTube channel when I get a mic. I will start a YouTube channel when I get a luxury, a good background. I will start a YouTube channel when I improve my English, because I prioritize my words. I have nothing, to be honest. My English is not good. I know that, but I'm improving it. My background is not good. My voice is not good. My mic is not that high quality. My camera is not that good. But I'm recording this video because I'm impatient. I got an idea to start a YouTube channel and I did. And I will show you guys in the next video what I do again, and how I start my channel, and how you can start your own channel. Bye bye guys, enjoy your video.
So they had to get something heinous. And unfortunately now, especially against men, but all these varied versions of sexual crimes are now so vague that they can attack anybody with any of it at any time. And now you're stuck trying to defend yourself. And there's still people inside the herd who are like, oh my God, did you hear about him? It really is amazing to me. But I mean, these people still believe in the vaccine, so what the fuck can you do? But
Our culture is dying.
what's right and wrong anymore? Everything is subjective now. Nothing is right or wrong, at the point where it's hard to have a hard line on almost anything. That is the bottom line of masculinity in general, is having a hard line on things. That's why they fear Trump, because he says, I'm deporting you. And they're like, oh, but what if? And they come up with their what ifs. Their exceptions that disprove the rules, their subjectalities. That's all the female mindset. And that's what they want everyone to think like. They want you all to think in subjectiveness. So when they say, I'm going to deport this person because they're here illegally, somebody who is masculine goes, okay, they're there illegally, they broke the law, deport them, fine. But the subjective mindset would go, but how long's he been here? But did he commit a crime? But did he go to work? Oh, has he got a family? Does he help his neighbor? Did he cut his grass? Maybe not him. And then it all goes down the rabbit hole, right? Of the rabbit hole of endless subjectivity, the rabbit hole of endless inaction, endless whatever. The reason they fear Trump is because he's the kind of person who just goes, no, that's the line. And that's what they don't like. You're right. They want everything now in this big cloud of constant and endless possible confusion. Yeah, it's two mindsets. There's people who believe morality comes from parameters, and people who believe morality is having no parameters at all. I think you nailed it where you just said it there, that the system, the matrix, whatever you want to call them, they try very hard to conflate docile and passive and inept with moral. Oh, he lets anyone around him do whatever they want, so he's a good person. When the truth is, if you actually look at history, it's been the absolute opposite. The good people, the heroes, the men did not allow people to do whatever they wanted. And that morality has convinced the Western world now into committing the largest act of suicide that we're going to ever see in probably modern history. I mean, the level of cuckdom that the average Western government is operating under is fucking ridiculous. They're giving up the safety of their native females and they're giving up their lands to people who don't respect their culture because they're good. Oh, but I'm nice. I'm moral. And it's crazy how we've conflicted that, when true morality would be standing on the beachhead with a spear saying, you don't come here. But this is it, right? So this is it. So they've even inversed it completely, because masculine morality has always been in the defense of things. That's what we've been for. The good men went to war to defend. But now, because everything's turned on its head and there's no war worth fighting, and all the people who are in charge of everything are trying to make us as docile as possible, and everything's so inverted, now morality is allowing the people who are advocating for illegal immigrants to come and rape the native women and bring drugs and commit murders believe they are moral.
Yeah,
they believe they are good people for allowing these undocumented people to turn up and destroy society. They believe they're moral for that. And that's what's truly scary. The scariest thing between these two opposing tribes, the people who think for themselves and believe in parameters and are resisting the matrix, and the people who believe in the matrix, when you talk to the people who believe in the matrix, you try and explain to them why the world voted for Trump. Like, America voted for Trump to fix things. And the reason they don't get it is because they don't think anything is broken.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what's scary. What's scary is they won't even say, yeah, it's broken, but he's not the answer. They're going to sit and say, what's broken? Illegal immigrants, so? You're like, because a country needs a border to be a country. Well, that explains why hot girls are conservative and why ugly girls are liberal.
There you go, yeah.
Because hot girls are conservative because they're like, I'm hot and I like me and I like the way I act and I like the way I think and I like the way I look and I want my kids to look like me. And then you have the ugly trolls who hate themselves. They won't admit they hate themselves, but they do by proxy. So they're committing suicide by proxy. It's their internal hate that they're trying to project outwards. It's kind of interesting. I'd love to sit with a liberal. I don't debate liberals anymore. I mean, Destiny couldn't afford my fee. And even if he tried to, I'm not going to sit and debate with these people, because one of the things I'm going to try and do with all my money is avoid all these scum. Life's punished him. But I'd love to have a conversation with them and say, what would be the line that would make you not be liberal anymore? Like, if the government said you all had to chop off your little finger, is that the line for you? Like, but they come up with a reason, because of immigrants, gays, whatever. Chop it off. We'll give you anesthetic. You don't really need it. Study after study about how you never really use it. The mainstream media talks about how unimportant it is. Everyone's holding a cup without one. People start talking on The View and on MSNBC about how much better life is without one. You know, ever since I chopped mine off, my hand feels so light and so mobile. And before you know it, and then, is that the line? Or does it have to go up a digit? What about your middle finger? Like, where does the point come where you finally realize you're being exploited? Or do you hate yourself so much, so viscerally, that you're happy to just go to the end? You're happy to just get shot in the head. Because it's self-hatred. Everything they purport and push for humanity is just destruction. Because they hate themselves. And they want society to pay a price, by extension, because God managed to make them trolls. And it's self-hatred. It's a death cult. And I'm wondering, is there any line to wake these people up? I don't know if there even is. So then you sit and say, well, why am I debating? This goes into my point about why I won't debate with them. Well, debate with who about what? Yeah. You're just born to fucking lose. People like you have always been born to lose. And when people like you met me, in every period of human history, on every geographical location on the planet, you were destroyed. Every single time. Now you have the internet, and I'm supposed to sit here with you and talk about it. When anywhere else you were gone, you were history. Fuck these people. But yeah, it's interesting, the huge ideological divide. And it's very interesting because morality, we just talked about. I believe morality is being prepared to kill others, to protect that's what morality is. And it's kind of crazy that liberals try and pretend it's something else, that morality is acceptance of all things, because that's hypocritical in and of itself. When you call the police, you expect them to kill the bad guy. You know, I don't believe in violence. I'm moral. Cops. So what do you expect them to do? You want them to shoot whoever's causing you the problem, right? So I agree with your morality. The morality is violence to defend what I believe in. If you're going to sit there and you accept everything and you think that makes you a good person, well, you're advocating destruction of your civilization. We can go down the gender path about why females are more likely to think this way because they're incapable of violence. So females are less likely to have a differing opinion because they can't defend that opinion. There's a whole bunch of pretty basic psychology that explains these things. But it is interesting because that is the plague of the Western world currently. The plague of the Western world currently is this decision on what is morality. And if morality is going to be this version of it that they're trying to purport by the MSM, then the only end result is destruction. If morality is accepting everything, then the end result is destruction. Accepting anyone coming from anywhere who wants to do anything they want and think however they want and talk whatever language they want and exploit the system any way they want, you're going to lose. You can't do that. You need to have a strong, it's kind of interesting. If I had to have a country and I had to accept immigrants from all around the world, I would actually say, okay, if we're going to do this for whatever reason, then they need to come in and adhere to our moral code. We need to have stronger morals, not less. We don't need to be accepting of everything. They need to turn up and they need to believe these 25 points. They need to repeat them every day and they need to say them every day. And their existence within our state is contingent on believing in these things. Then it doesn't matter what color they are. It doesn't matter what religion they are. Because these things at least unite the people. We've done the absolute opposite. We said, you can come with your own morals.
That's like...
And we're moral because we let everyone else have their own morals. Freedom. No, it's true. No, it's not even... You know what? That's liberals are at battle with their own instincts.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
No, I've never heard this before. Women don't want kids if they're liberal. Men don't want to resist oppression if they're liberal. Men don't want to defend their society and defend their land and defend their women if they're liberal. They're at war with their own instincts. And I guess the reason why they do something like castrate themselves is to try and make those instincts go away. Otherwise, you're left with the eternal feeling of cowardice, right? Does it come down to a degree of bravery? I'm not sure. But if you feel instinct to defend something, but you're afraid to defend it and you don't act to defend it, you either have guilt or you have to then go and suffer the consequences of defending it. So there's two sides, but you're right. Liberals are at war with their own instincts, which has to evolve into some degree of mental illness and self-hatred. I mean, I don't know the statistics on this because I don't read statistics because I don't believe in them. I think they're all made up. But I would argue if somebody out there could do a real study that liberals were far higher on the mental health. I mean, the people who are taking antidepressants or people who are taking anti-anxiety meds, I'd argue the majority of them are liberals, or let liberals at least take them at a much higher percentage, which is kind of interesting. If we were to accept, and I think liberals themselves might even accept this, if we were to accept that liberals take mind-altering drugs more often than conservatives for anxiety, depression, whatever it is, some kind of mental health ailment, why were you trying to push the world with your worldview when all of you are on the verge of suicide? Like, isn't that disqualifying? Isn't that disqualifying in itself? Your worldview, the majority of people who think like you, can't even live within their own mind. And you're trying to make society do it. Like, how does this end? You know, it's interesting what you said, because even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? So, like, I agree with the liberals on Gaza, Palestine, Israel. I agree with the liberals. All the liberals with the Palestine flags, I agree with. But then they have a Ukraine flag in their bio. And I don't agree with that. Like, they always choose the oppressed team. So sometimes they get it right, and a lot of times they get it wrong. They always choose the oppressed team. But it's interesting because I rationally look at both situations and come to what I believe to be a rational conclusion. People can disagree with me, it's fine. But I don't believe I'm ideologically aligned. I literally just look and go, well, that's not right, and that is right, and that makes sense. But they automatically choose the underdog no matter what. Yes. That's it. Yeah. And so for them, it is like a biological response to things. It is very interesting. You know, you can say certain things. It's actually kind of annoying because, especially when you talk on the internet, you have to be careful how you phrase things, because especially when you end up, everything's translated and put in a court of law. But it's interesting. I've always been the person who looked at a tree, a big, beautiful tree, And my girlfriend would be like, wow, look how beautiful that tree is. And I'd sit there and go, that tree killed every tree around it. That tree annihilated every sapling anywhere near it. Its roots go so deep, an army tank can crash into that tree and the tree will stay standing. That tree is annihilated. How many other trees has that tree murdered? And the women see, wow, a pretty tree. And I see, that tree's a gangster, but he's dangerous. That tree's killed people. My mentality has always been that. Now, when you say this, there's going to be some autist on the internet who's going to think, oh, Tate said go out there and kill all my enemies. I'm not saying that. But, please. But, yeah, to a degree, to win, I guess you have to accept, to win, there must be a loser. If you're going to be a winner, there are a loser. And often, in many cases in life, for one man to win, 100 must lose. This is how it goes. So maybe this whole mentality of we don't want anyone to lose, we are moral, we accept everything, we're not better than. Maybe you do have to have, not maybe, perhaps, you do have to have a degree of arrogance. You do have to believe you're worthy of winning, which means you have to believe you're better than the people you beat. You have to believe it. Otherwise, you wouldn't beat them. And I guess the easy way to believe that is to believe that your culture is better or your religion is better. But they throw all that away. They don't want to believe they're better than anyone in any way. They want this false idea of this equality, this fake, everyone can just get along equality garbage, which anyone with a brain understands isn't true and will never work, ever. The question is, do they really even believe it will work, or do they just hate themselves so much?
No, I literally think it's like almost aim sweet. You're just like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, dude.
But is a lot of that just cowardice and escaping suffering?
Yes, I think so.
Is that what it is? I mean, is it just being born with a mindset where you hate suffering so much and you always team with the underdog and everything's unfair and nobody should have to suffer? I mean, if you have the mentality that you're born to suffer, I think you'll be pretty good at things. Yeah. If you're born with the mentality that nobody should suffer, you're always going to be shit at things. I understand that I was born to suffer. And truthfully, I mean, I'm very, very blessed with my life. A lot of people have said to me, you know, you're under stress and they're putting you in jail in Romania and you're going through all this court. Like, how do you deal with that? How do you smile? This is nothing compared to the suffering I could. Yeah. I mean, is it hard? Yeah, not really. I mean, I don't know. I was built to suffer. I wake up every day and go, what's on the menu? Let's go. And I'm so used to it. I'm kind of excited by it. The only period in my life where I could say where everything was genuinely perfect was about a month before I was arrested. And I've never been so anxious. I felt so anxious. I was in Dubai. All those videos from Dubai with the Bugatti and the big mansion and all the girls and everything. And me and Tristan were sitting around the pool. And I remember I've said this on every podcast. I'm going to say it again for the people at home in case their life's going good. If your life's going good, panic. I'm telling you, if your life's going well, worry. Because I was sitting there by the pool with the Bugatti and the McLaren and like 20 girls I'd never even met who were beautiful. And we're sitting by there and we got the big pool. We're in this huge mansion. Tristan goes, 6 years ago we were in Luton. We made it. And I was like, nah, we're fucked. Something's coming.
Yeah.
He said, what do you mean? I was like, I'm 36. I could not have completed life this level. I could not be the most famous man on the planet. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Endless women want my children. Bugatti on the drive. Like, nah. There's no way I can get away with this for the next 50 years. Something's coming. A month later, there you go. That's just how it goes. So I feel comfortable with the suffering because I feel like I have a direction and an objective. When I have endless suffering, I'm like, okay, well, I know what I need to do now. I mean, what's more frustrating? A video game where you can't beat the final boss? Or you know when you play those games and you get lost and you can't find the next part and you're just going around in circles. I've been in this room. I'm just going around in circles. Those are the games that piss me off more than the game where I'm trying to beat the guy I can't beat. I'm happy fighting an enemy I might not be able to beat. I'm much more anxious when I'm lost. So I think when you accept that suffering is part of life, you get good at suffering and then you get good at things. If you're going to go through the world trying to make the world sufferless and yourself not have suffering, well then you're going to suffer more than anything. I guess that's why they end up popping pills all. How successful you are in life is directly correlated to your stress tolerance. Yeah. In fact, it's more correlated to your stress tolerance than anything else. Forget IQ, forget most nearly anything. If you're the guy who can deal with more stress than anyone else, you're going to end up in the position where you're dealing with more stress than anyone else. And those positions, one way or another, pay you. Because no one else will do it.
I think there's stats on that, by the way. I think you're right.
Well, no, I'm telling you because that's the only way you can even separate yourself from the labor market in general, right? I can put myself in a position to do what others won't do. Even me, why am I globally famous? I've said water's wet. I don't believe I've said anything truly remarkable, but everyone already knows it. But I'm the one who's dumb enough to say it and go to jail for it. So that's why. Like, so you have to put yourself in a position where Dcart are raiding your home, with guns, kicking your dog, threatening to shoot your dog in the head.
They kick the dog.
Yeah. Threatening to shoot your dog in the head, dragging your females around by their hair. And you got to put yourself in a very stressful place. And that's the same with everything. It's the same with every fighting champion. They take the shot. I want the belt now on 2 days' notice. I'll take it. That's how I won my first world title, 2 days' notice. So why do they become champion? Because they were the guy ready to fight for a championship without a training camp. They're that guy. So a lot of it is down to stress tolerance, but it is really interesting how these things apply to the individual and how these things apply to the macro. And I try and have conversations with here we go. Let me say something controversial. I try and have conversations with women, which is always a mistake because they don't understand anything outside of themselves. They only think about themselves. They're very selfish. And whenever I discuss any subject with men, we discuss it on the macro and we discuss it on the personally applicable, right? We can even look at a legal system. Romania is the safest country in Europe. You know why? Because they'll lock you up on nothing. They don't care. This whole individual rights, individual liberties, innocent till proven guilty, that's Western garbage. That's why London's Stab City, because of that. The reason there's no stabbings here is because if they even suspect that you might have once, you go to jail. And it's your problem to get out. It's not their problem, it's your issue. They don't care. And lots of societies are like this. Japan's the same. Everyone talks about Japan and talks about how safe it is. Since I got out of jail, I did a lot of research on different legal systems around the world because I'm going through the Romanian legal system. I thought, you know what? Is this this system is garbage? What other systems are there? Everyone goes, oh, Japan's so safe. Japan's so safe. Do you know why? Because they have a 98% conviction rate. That's why. Because if you stand in front of a judge, you're toast, and there's nothing you can say to get out of it. If England did that, it would be safe too. But we don't. Individual rights, individual liberties. We've put the individual's feelings over the sanctity of the entire society, the bee over the beehive. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I mean, I'm currently in a situation where as a bee, I wish things were different. But as a beehive, Romanians are like, oh yeah, well, you're rich. Romanians say this to me, you're very rich. You talk a lot, you drive a fast car, and it's good that the poor people here see that being rich comes with problems or it might make riots. And, you're rich and you go to jail sometimes. They're just like, it's for the beehive. It's for the beehive. Get over it. This is kind of how they think. And I sit and say, I'm innocent. They go, yeah. Innocent, guilty. That has nothing to do with it. It's good for the beehive.
The taxi driver literally said something like
Yeah, it's good for the beehive, so get over it. China's the same. It's good for the beehive, so fuck the bee. Yeah. We're the other way around, right? So these things all apply. And it's very interesting when you discuss all these subjects because you can discuss something like the legal system and what's the right way to do it, how it applies to society, and how it applies to the individual. I was talking about this with some girl. We were watching a TV show, and a stalker killed his ex-girlfriend. And she was like, why didn't they stop him? That's terrible. She kept calling the police. Why didn't they stop him? That's terrible. I'm saying, explain to me. Come on, I'm going to try and treat you like an adult, which is a mistake. Woman. Explain to me how they could have stopped this happening, the police. But she called them. She called the police. Yes, she called the police and said that her ex won't leave her alone. Do they now have to life in prison her ex? Is that your solution? What's the solution here? He called her over and over and over again, kept calling her. He made a threat. The police went round and saw him and said, stop threatening her. Don't contact her again. He contacted her again. They put him in jail for a month. He then got out and killed her. What could they have done different? Are you saying that any man who texts his ex should go to jail for life?
So this is the end of the video, and we're going to talk about the benefits, the advantages and disadvantages of money. We're going to talk about the benefits of money and how the importance of money in today's society. We're going to talk about does money buy happiness or not, and we're also going to talk about God is watching us. Let's start with God is watching us. Like, bro, seriously, God is watching us, and what we are doing, we are jerking off on a Pornhub, we are doing stupid stuff, we are wasting our time, we are wasting our potential, we are wasting our teen years, we are wasting our golden years of our life. We only get 20 to 25 golden years of your life. And we are wasting it on girls, we are wasting it on stupid things, we are wasting it on jerking off to Pornhub. We are wasting all life, and God is watching us, and God will reward us according to the things we are doing in our life. Start, make your day productive. Start doing the work. Start taking action, because good luck, good luck only gonna comes in your life when you start taking action, when you start moving. So make your day as much productive as you can. Go for a walk, go to the gym, work your ass off on your laptop, work your ass off on a grocery store or something else that brings you that makes you money. Work hard because God is watching us, and stop doing stupid things. Stop wasting your time with stupid peoples. Stop jerking off to Pornhub because God is watching us. So let's talk about the benefits and importance and disadvantages of money, and does it buy happiness or not. So money is very important. Some people said that money is not important, money is this and that. I believe in science. Money is not important because I'm gay, I'm homosexual. No, money is important. Every person who wakes up in the morning wakes up so he can get to his job, so he can get to the work, and he can work, he can get some money, he can earn some money. Every person wakes up in the morning to get some money. I wake up in the morning I wake up in the morning, and the first thing that comes in my mind is I have to work more hard than yesterday. I have to mark more than yesterday. I have to make more content than yesterday. I have to make my day productive. I have to go to the gym and try my best. I have to run. I have to walk more than I walked yesterday. I don't work for money. I'm not saying that. Money is just not real, but it's important to have money. I chase work. I don't chase money. I chase work. Money is not real, but but money is important. We need money to buy things. We need money to buy a car. We need money to buy a house. We need money to be respectful, to be the respectful guy in the society, to become the important and respectable man in the society. We need money for these things. And I'm not saying that you should chase money, but instead of chasing money, instead of chasing girls, attract attract these things by working hard on yourself, by building businesses, by doing the work, by going to the gym and building a physique. These girls and money gonna come to you. Stop chasing those things. Just focus on your work. And money is very important. Money is so important. Like, world runs on money, but money is not my goal. Money is just a tool. Use it as a tool. And it can hurt you. Money actually can hurt you and harms you when you start chasing money, when you start idolizing money, when you start working for money. I'm not working for money. I'm just working. Money will follow me. Money will follow me. Money will chase me once I get more views on YouTube, once I get more skilled at my work, once I get more skilled at my businesses. Money will follow me. We don't have to chase money. Money will chase us. Girls will chase us. Once we get once we get to the point, once we get successful in life. So let's talk about, does money buy happiness or not? Money doesn't buy happiness indirectly. Like, you go to the nearest shop, go to the near grocery store or shop. You ask the shopkeeper to give you some happiness in exchange of money. That sounds stupid. Exactly. You can't buy happiness directly with money, but you can buy happiness indirectly. Let's talk about what makes you happy. Like in my case, cars makes me happy. Yachts make me happy. Traveling the world makes me happy. When people start giving me respect and importance to my words will make me happy. If my parents are proud of me, that's gonna make me happy. If the girl I love start loving me back, that thing's gonna make me happy. These things gonna make me happy. And the easiest and the fastest way to get all these things is to by getting rich, by getting some money. So yes, it doesn't buy happiness directly, but it does buy happiness indirectly. We got our answer, bro. Money is important. We have to do more and more work so money will chase us. Anyway, if you don't know, I'll let you know again that I also have a Discord server where me and other members of our Discord server talk about money and how we can improve our life. I will leave the link in the description and in the pin comment. Maybe not in the pin comment. I will leave the link in the description. Let's talk about some other topic. We have 3 more minutes. So let me select a topic because I have a notebook full of amazing lessons. We're gonna talk about talking about getting rich. That's what we do in our Discord server. That's why I'm convincing you to join our Discord server so we can talk about money and how we can earn more money, how we can get more money, how we can get more work, how we can scale our businesses, how we can get more clients, how we can get more skilled at our work, how we can start new things. We all talk about these things. And talking about money is very important because I start talking with people about money, about how we can improve our life. Like I'm doing content creation and I know a guy with 45K subscribers and he upload motivational videos. I talked to him about the things he's doing. I talked to him about his content creation. And I ended up making my second channel. You can also subscribe that channel. I will leave the link in my pinned comment. I made yesterday I made a channel and I upload my first video. That's gonna happen when you start talking about money with people, when you start talking about other things. Like when someone comes in my group, I asked him, what do you do, where are you from? And if he's doing social media stuff, he's doing trading, I keep that person. I start talking more and more. Yesterday I met another guy. I don't know what his name because you just can't remember names. So I don't know his name, but he's a G. I love that guy. He also do YouTube and his channel is monetized also. And we teamed up together and we decided to join real world together and to do content creation, to make more channels, to start doing content creation, to learn about content creation. That's gonna happen when you start talking about money. That's gonna happen when you start hanging around with productive people. Leave those stupid people who are not serious about their goal and start hanging around with winners. Start talking to the winner because winner won't allow you to be the loser. God bless you guys, and always believe in yourself that you're going to make it. Without believing in yourself, you're not going to make it. Believe in yourself that you're going to make it. God bless you, and subscribe that channel, bro.